We are here. The pot, y'all. New episode. I want to thank everybody that been tuning into the show, you know what I'm saying, and showing love. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for everybody that showed love to the last episode. Foolish made this, you know what I'm saying? Y'all making the numbers go up, the shares, it's going up. I want to thank y'all for that, you know what I'm saying? But yo, tonight I have a special guest in the building, you know what I'm saying? This guy is family. And not only is he family, he was family before we knew we were family. You know what I'm saying? This man is a comedian, a writer, an artist. He's very funny. Very, very funny. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome my guest to the pot, Maxx Madness. Y'all know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the pot, good bro.
I appreciate you, good brother. Thanks for having me on, man.
I'm glad that you're here, man. It's definitely a good thing to have you on, you know what I'm saying? We've been talking for a minute about doing it, so you know what I'm saying, we here now, you know what I'm saying, and you here, you know what I mean?
You left a few accolades out, man. You forgot to tell them I'm an alcoholic.
Hey man, say hey. So tell the people a little bit about you, man. Tell the people what's up.
Well, all right. So I don't know if you my usual intro when I come into the joint. You know, I let everybody know it's the bull Maxx Madness, aka the petty-weight champ of the world, Craig, aka
Hey.
girl. Don't even try it. That baby look like Pastor Johnson,
Hey.
aka. AKA, I mean, it's cool. I ain't even gotta say all the AKO because I might be wanted for some of them. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta stop while you're ahead.
So tell the people what you do, man. Tell them about yourself.
Well, currently I'm a stand-up comedian, radio personality. Um, I said I'm an alcoholic, but I'm a promoter. I just ventured into the world of acting. Got some things coming up, and I hope you all tune in and judge me. By the way, some people be like, "No, don't judge me. I'm new to this." No, judge me. I'm gonna be a Tubi actor, and I'm coming in with the full-fledged Tubi acting skills. Yeah, so that means you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me with nothing but outtakes, and we're gonna keep it. It's going like how the Tubi roles be. You're gonna see somebody in the background. you be like, yo, why did he just drop all his props and they just kept the bull running? I'm gonna have a stunt double that don't look nothing like me. He gonna be light skinned. You
said light skinned.
Yeah, my stunt double gonna be light skinned. He gonna be skinny. You know what I mean? He gonna have all his teeth, all that. Like we don't care. We just gonna throw it all away.
So tell the people where you're from, man.
I'm a Philadelphia native, man. As I don't know if I put it up there, the 215, born and raised. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I'm from Philly. Came up here. I'm still here. I'm venturing off right now. Trying to get the stand up stuff moving. I don't like to throw it out there all too much these days, but I'm also a songwriter, hip hop artist. I try not to get into that because then everybody,
we will get into that. We will get into that. So before you tell too much information, you know what I'm saying? Let's slow it. Don't go too fast and too far ahead. You know what I'm saying? Because the questions have to come.
You're not getting no bars out of me, Jay. You're not
Right.
getting no bars out of me. I'm gonna just say that now. Before you try to peer pressure me, and then people at home like, oh, he corny, he ain't spit no bars. No, that ain't my thing right now. As you can see, I'm living like a Philly person now. Some people gonna see my blinds like, oh man, I can afford his crib. Like, yeah, you see my drapes, like my blinds all crooked.
So hey man, so tell me how you got started in doing stand-up comedy and what sparked that, because like you just said, you were an artist before we even dig into the comedy side. Let's dig into the artist side of it. We ain't gonna ask you to
Okay,
spit
so you
bars,
want?
but let's get into it. Tell me a little bit about
Well,
that.
we're gonna start from the
I
beginning.
know already,
You
but
know,
I can't tell everybody the story. You got to do it.
yeah. Well, I started up, coming up as most Philly people do. A lot of Philly people. It's common to be a rapper here, and
Right.
so it was in the era that we grew up in. So I guess technically, people could say that I was a battle rapper. Technically, I guess I don't know. I felt like I was a songboy, but in that era, even if you did songs, nobody was trying to hear you until you battled. So they be like,
Right.
you be trying to sell your mixtape, and they be like, all right, let me hit that. You got to battle me. You want my $10, my $5? I
Right.
you need to battle me. You got to beat me to buy your record. Like, what? I got to beat you. And then, after you beat them, they don't want to buy yourself. I went on a massive tear for a long time.
Yeah.
I started out rapping, and I want to say middle school. I started out with my man Blaze Pro. That was
Yeah.
his
Shout out to Blaze Pro,
most most
our brother.
commonly named, rapper name. He had multiple names. I came up. I started out. I wasn't even and when I was a rapper, my name was Bullet D Gray.
Bullet
It
D.
was short
Gray.
for Bullet
Yes,
D
sir.
Gray. You know what I mean? It was
So,
short
so,
for Bullet
so,
D
so,
Gray.
was you in a group?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
started
So,
out.
what
I
was the name of
originally
this
was
group
in a
you was
group.
in?
I was originally in a group with my man Blaze Pro. It was a few more of us called the Corporation, and we called
Big.
ourselves the Corporate Team. You know what I mean, we was riding off the WWF theme and all that, and like we was efficient, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Like it was a lot of competition. You know what I mean, I was in a different hood, so I
So,
had to battle everybody. I'm not a project boy, but I live not too far from the projects. My man was from there, so it was like a rite
so,
of passage. When he had me come around, I would have to battle everybody. So that was our thing. That was my initiation in the corporation. After years of doing that, working with him, and he's he was, to me, I looked up to him lyrically. So I would just like kind of like follow suit on like as far as like his career trajectory. So he eventually, like when we got to our high school years, he joined a group called the Lions Den. Well, I don't know if he joined it or did they form together. I'm not sure how it all originated.
well,
I
I can
came later.
answer that.
So
I can answer that. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
before we get into that, tell me the group members of this group that you were in.
well, in the Lions Den, I'm about to say because I can't remember all the members of the corporate team, the corporation, because
The ones that you know for sure.
well, I'm about to say, it's hard to remember because a lot of a few of us have passed away. Shout out to my man, rest in peace, my man Willie. Will,
Yeah.
oh man, it was more like well, I wanted it. He gonna kill me for mentioning him. My bro Penn was a rapper at one point. He don't like to tell people this. So when he
Yeah.
see this, he like, yo man, don't be telling nobody that, like, because then they gonna make him rap. That was like 40 years ago, but
Yeah.
but no. It was more of us, bro. It was oh man, that's so long ago. But all right, let me fast forward the story. That was the beginning. I started out in the corporation. Then in the high school years, my man joined the squad, Lions Den squad. Tig, I know you're familiar with it.
Yeah, because I was in
Uh,
that
I was,
squad.
I was.
Yes.
So that's how
So
we
so this is
originally
what I was
met.
asking. Wait, before you continue, this is why I asked, Um
Mhm.
the Lions then definitely was our thing. You know what I'm saying? It was the whole squad. So it consisted of you,
It consisted of
me,
I was a late addition
Nasty
to the
Nate
Lions. I
from
was like
Child, Blaze
nasty
Pro,
Nate Marshall.
Dublin the
Uh-huh.
Boss.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
It
But
was, it was other members. I don't know who y'all kept in and out. That's why I say at first when I originally started coming around, I was like, how Wu Tang had the
yeah,
expanded
we was
members.
like a Wu Tang.
What?
We had a lot of members
Yeah.
in the team. Like, yeah, it
hmm
was a lot of
So it
members
was
in
like
the team.
I came
So
in. I came in as kind of the expansion team member, and then after a while, as my skill level started getting better, and then the group members started getting more comfortable with me. They actually, they welcomed me into the family, and I appreciated that because I learned
yes,
a
you
lot.
did.
It was a learning experience. I know we say Wu Tang, but I kind of feel like we
You
were
was like
like
a
Slaughter,
mini major figures a little bit.
sort
You
of,
was
yeah,
like a
that
little
too.
figures a
I
little
feel
low.
I feel like we was like Slaughterhouse before Slaughterhouse. Like it was a
Yeah, because we were
collection
super
of like
lyrical.
the
Everybody
most
was lyrical and
talented.
different.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I would
it
agree
was
with that.
mainly lyricists, and it was Dub was like to me he was a super producer. He may not feel that way now today in life, but back then it was like, bruh, hey, yeah, everybody want to beat from this dude. Like, I
Dub
mean,
and the Boss definitely had
and
beats and they was fire. Shout out to you, Dub. If you're watching, we just was debating about the age thing with the Killer Mike thing, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Killer Mike
Mhm.
too, man, winning them Grammys at 48 years old, man. This is what it's about, you know what I'm saying? This is what the show is predicated on. Older talent still, shining and going hard and going further because in our cultures, it's a certain age you're supposed to stop, according to a lot of people.
I
You
never
know what I'm saying?
understood that because I never understood that. And I seen your post the other day, and you were
Yeah,
absolutely correct. I wanted to tell you. I never got, to call you and tell you, but you were correct on that. And the Killer Mike kind of, him winning it kind of, even though the funny thing is, people put an age limit on hip hop. And see, this is the radio host side of me coming out. The radio
absolutely.
personality is like, it's like, yo, I don't understand why people put an age limit on hip hop, but every other genre you can die in that genre. You could be 70 years old going around touring as a rock star, but then when a hip hop artist elevates to the fan base to where they call them pop or something, we try to throw that like this a negative on it. It's like a stain on their jacket. Like, oh, you ain't a rapper, you a pop artist. Like what? Like, no,
Right,
bro, I'm just a popular rapper. I
right.
grinded, I worked hard, and that's the funny thing. Like we see Killer Mike get that award, and that's what's up. But a lot of the artists that we had on that top 10 list didn't come out until they were already grown.
Yeah.
But we just kind of forget it because we were young at the time.
The
Like,
2 Chains of
like
the world, the Rick Rosses of the world, they
yeah,
was already fully grown adults out here. And
grown men.
yeah,
But for some, I don't know. But see, I also don't know if that's just a local thing that we do. Like, I don't know if it's a Philly thing or is that all around? Do other people feel that way? Like, oh, you still a rapper at 35? Oh,
yeah. I mean, I
like,
think that it's a stigma that people put on talent and black culture
hmm,
mainly. And I
okay.
really don't understand the reason why it's like that, right? Because, like you said, I agree with you totally. When you look at other genres of music, people is like 70, 80, 90 years old, still rocking
Right?
stages and selling out stages too. Like in our culture, we are
people in
the
the
only
people in
ones
the
that
crowd
once
is
we
90.
get a certain age, people are like, hang it up. Oh, you still trying to do it? I never tell Rakim that. You know what I'm saying? Rakim is the GOAT still and still spitting bars. Big
Yeah.
Daddy Kane, all of them, like, I never do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I look at that, like, I look at it like, more people need to just really understand that music is timeless.
Hmm.
There is no age limit to music. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you there.
Yeah. It'll
So
hurt they heart if an old rapper smashed their chick. Say, am I allowed to say that? Wait.
yeah, you can say smash, you know what I'm saying? We keeping it clean, you already know. But you can say smash, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. Yeah, she bought, hey. But so, all right, tell me about how you got into the comedy thing and what
okay,
your
so
journey is
all
so
right, so all
far.
right, I'm gonna keep the journey going. So all right, so when I entered the Lions Den, it opened a lot of doors for me as far as it was my introduction into entertainment, and that's what I'm saying. It started with we was dropping mixtapes, left and right, and then I would be battling people, and then I'd be meeting people, and then like suddenly I had an opportunity one day to get into one of these tournaments, like the Philly Fight Club is what it was. So I joined that joint one day, and I ended up actually winning and becoming a champion.
Yeah,
And that opened the door. That was around the DVD era. So that kind of introduced. That's when I met Young Bob and all them. Now I didn't know this at the time, but the Lions Den guys had already, they had already a connection with him. They had went to school together, whatever. I don't know, but
Shout out
so
to Young
he
Bob,
showed up.
Headshot Records, for those that
Shout out
don't
to
know.
the headshot.
Headshot Records
So
is the name of their entity, and they had some spitters on Headshots.
yeah, it's crazy. It was, that DVD era was crazy. Everybody was headhunters,
Meek was
and
on them
so
Jones. A lot of people was on them
they
Jones.
they ended up showing up to the battle, but they came deep as could be. Like I guess they had enough. They had a battle set up that night for their DVD, but I guess you know how it is. Publicity is publicity. So with our event going on, they decided to bring their event into that event as well. So it ended up being like a clash of all the top spitters. So all the dudes I see on the DVDs end up at my battle. Like they all there. I'm like, oh, I just seen this before. They're like, oh, snap. And I mean, it was a good job. I mean, it was you know how battles go,
How
bro.
old were you then?
It'd be
How old were you?
This was after high school. At this point, I was in my early 20s, and because that was around the headshot era, and yeah, I don't know I can't remember my exact age. Too many trees and drinks ago, but so yeah, I mean that kind of opened the door to me networking. I always had this ability. I'll put it like that. So that's the key point in the story was what I'm trying to tell you. So when all these entertainers came in one spot, the first thing I thought to do was talk to them, see where their heads was at, introduce myself, not on no, and this is something I want to put out there for those watching. Any people that's aspiring to get into the entertainment industry. Don't A lot of times in Philly, we feel like giving people their flowers or their kudos, we call it DEing. But it's not. You can congratulate and support somebody and it's not you being Joe. Sometimes
Absolutely.
and that's what I had. That was the first lesson I learned, and it was a thing that helped project me later on in life. So by the time after the rap era, when I decided, oh man, I want to get into doing podcasts and radio. Like there's a story behind all that too. I
Right.
started doing the podcast, and like I
So
dropped
so
I
wait,
dropped the
wait. So
mixtape.
before you get into that, right? Here's my question to you. Um, how did you link up with these radio people, and who were those people?
Okay, so how that transition from music to radio was
Right.
I was all right. So there's a time gap in between the rapping era and me doing the battles and stuff and starting the network and getting my name out there to the radio stuff. In
Right.
between all of that, there was life changing events that happened to me as well.
So
Like
we're
I got
gonna get
shot.
into that too. So let's get into that. Let's talk about it. Tell the
Well,
people
I
a
mean,
little bit about your life
I don't
changing
want to
event.
steer away. With the life changing event, I ended up getting shot up. Sadly, it's a kind of a common thing
You got shot up.
in
Hold
Philly.
on. So hold on before we get into that, right? Because you know that
Mhm.
the show is about highlighting pain. You know what I'm saying? So this is the part
Yes.
where we're gonna get into it. And for those that don't know, this is what we talk about on here. The show is about pain and the mental health of artists and how they overcome things while still entertaining the world. So
Okay.
you want to tell us a little bit about what happened?
Well, I mean, I guess the long story short of it is, uh, it just be it's just one of those life events where never take anything for granted because your whole life can change like that. You never know how when you go outside your day, however you plan it to be. You know how they say, don't never tell God your plans because he'll laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah, well
yeah.
that be it.
How many
I
times
had
you got
mad
shot?
plans of where I don't know multiple. Like it was like I'm
You
just
don't
gonna
know
say
how many
multiple because
times you got shot?
I mean I know, but it's like
So say
I don't want
it.
to no because when you say stuff like that, people just start getting a little like,
Bro,
oh man,
this
they
is
been
the
trying to
pot,
get you
bro.
out of here.
Listen.
I,
This is
I'm
what this show is
I'm
about.
gonna say this. I'm gonna just say this. More than five.
It was
I'm gonna
sad.
just say that.
I'm gonna
I'm
say it
gonna say
for you. I'm saying-
more than five, less than 10. Like, you know what I mean?
I'll
But
say it
it was
for
just
you.
like
All right,
I
so
had
for
left.
those that don't know, you know what I'm saying, this is actually my cousin. This is
Mhm.
actually my cousin, you know what I'm saying? And we've been friends for mad years, and we cousins through marriage, and we was hanging with each other for over 20 years and didn't even know we was related.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll say it for you. So I had to do a real cousin moment, you know what I'm saying? Because I understand how that is, because you know, like I know, I'm also a victim of gun violence as well. And you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I got shot in the head. You took 7 out this jump. And you're still here. So that means God has
Yeah.
a purpose for you. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
with your
So
purpose,
and
you um
that was a huge part of my transition out of like aside from getting older, because you get older, you get more mature. But then when you have like a life or death experience, you start changing up. Like I didn't jump immediately out of rap because I still had a story to tell. So I didn't just up and leave rap, but it was just like it didn't feel the same. I didn't. Part of the reason why I left is because, and this isn't to contradict what we were saying earlier about getting older and being a rap artist, but for me physically, as far as being a performer as a rap artist, you got to bounce around on stage and be energetic and all that. With me getting shot so many times, one of my most crucial shots, I got shot in the hip. So I don't walk the same anymore. I have a limp now. So
yeah,
it literally hurts me. Like I'm in pain every second of the day.
yeah, I
Like
understand that
my
because
pain
I go
doesn't
through
go
that as
away.
well. Nerve pain, and the nerve
Yeah,
pain is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
and
And the
that's a crazy.
pills don't work. So let
Yeah,
the
and a lot of
doctors
people
know
don't
that
know that.
now. All those doctors, if you're watching, the nerve pills, the gabapentin, and all of that, it don't work.
Yeah, it don't work. And but
Let's be honest.
I also wasn't trying to get dependent on the pills. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely,
that
because
causes
that
other
leads
problems.
to substance abuse. And anybody
That
out
causes
there that's fighting with substance abuse, go seek help. I would suggest that you do
yeah.
that. So how did you overcome
So
like
it's
how did you
really
overcome dealing with being shot? Somebody tried to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a real mind
I'm not
boggle.
gonna lie. Yeah, I'm about to say as you just said. So
Hold on,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
before you
There,
finish,
there
let
was
me
a
finish saying
process.
what I'm saying. Let me pose the question. So juggle how did you juggle going through all of that? Because that's the PTSD side of it, right?
Yeah.
When somebody try to kill you, you're definitely gonna have post traumatic stress disorder. It's gonna play back constantly. You're gonna have nightmares. You're gonna have all types of things going on in your head. You're not gonna trust people. You're gonna be ready to pull the strap out on everybody when you see them. All
Yep.
types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I went through this, so I
It
know how
it
that
took
feels. So
me.
my question is, how did you overcome that and still decide to be an entertainer? Let the people know, because if people going through that, they need
Well,
to know how you got through
it is a process. I don't know how long it's going to take any of you that had go through your. Well, I mean, everybody's story is different.
it.
Everybody's journey
Absolutely,
is different.
absolutely,
For me, I can. I'm honestly going to tell you, like I said before, I'm in pain every second of every day. So
right.
I still go through stuff like sometime here and there, but you just have to find little coping mechanisms to help you not focus on the negative. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for me, it was just like staying active and not letting myself fully become a victim. You know what I mean? If that makes sense to anybody at home. I don't know. It's like you got to say that because I could have easily sat home and probably tried to get a disability and said, yo, I'm not going to do nothing out here. You know what? I'm just to live off the government and all this. I could have went that route. But for
You
me
could have.
mentally, I can't sit still. Because I was such a creator my whole life, like it wasn't just like I decided to be a rapper one day. I grew up. I went to Shawmont Elementary School. If anybody's familiar with that in Philly, that's a school that literally like it's like a performing arts type school. So they
Right.
trained us from whatever year you get there. Like it does start. I believe it starts in kindergarten. I believe, but I didn't get there until first grade. Like so, from first grade, they was kind of grooming me to be something. It wasn't necessarily to be a musician, but they groom you to explore all of your talents. So
Right.
for me, after getting shot and all that, my brain wouldn't stop because it's like I gotta write, I gotta do all that. So after all that happened, and then also, and I know you're familiar with this as well, Tig. When you go through stuff like that, the life we lived, we was in the streets. Yeah, I mean, like I'm
Definitely.
not trying to say no crazy. I'm not trying to say no hype it up and be like, yo, we was just going mad out there in the streets. We was hardcore, da 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 da, mad
Uh,
dog killer type. No, no, that's not.
uh,
No, no. Well, I can only tell my story. I can
we
only tell
gonna
my
talk
story.
about
I
and
was.
who we talking about? Max Madness or Bullet Degrader?
Chill. I ain't losing. I ain't losing no
And who we
contracts over
talking
this.
about? Tinder or Tigmatic?
Okay, you see. So, so basically, what I'm saying is, in my head, I had to get that creative side out of me. So I wouldn't let my new disabilities at that time
Right,
define me or stop me from being a creative. So I still,
right.
and then like I was saying, the reason I said that is because what reason I said we was also in the streets is because the streets was talking. It's all types of who knows the real story behind anything out here. It's always mad different stories.
Yeah,
In my case, I never found out who shot me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Not not to,
I can
not to get
relate to
fully
that.
into it, but in my case, I don't know who the shooter was. So
Right.
it was a situation where I'm hearing mad different stories about what happened. And so now like you said, you don't know who to trust because all the stories I'm hearing, oh man, your man backbited you, he did you dirty, da da da. I'm like, that don't that's not, no, I know
Right.
my
So
man.
it
He
got
ain't
you
do
feeling
that.
like you want down everything and everybody around you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
like you gotta
understand
distance
that,
yourself
bro,
and clear.
because the PTSD side of me, when I first got hit, a lot of people didn't know this, but bro, I was, I was definitely equipped everywhere I went. You know what I'm saying? And I was
Yeah.
on go everywhere I
And
went.
it does
And
that to you.
when
But
when
they al- but also you're leaving out a part when you say that because you are leaving out the part about recovery.
no, I'm not. I
Like
was about to get to that.
yeah,
So
I'm
so
about to
so
say
for me, it was a little different, right? Because I got shot in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like a piece of my brain
yeah,
is gone, the size of a golf ball. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So that means that I have to live life a
Wow.
certain way.
Glad to
I
hear you,
don't
man. Glad
for
to see
me,
you.
I have memory loss and things like that. So I gotta constantly do things repeatedly. I had to retrain myself on how to tie my shoes, how to talk, how to walk,
Mhm.
everything. I had to about that part because that's the part that people don't know about.
Yeah,
And when
I
you
had to
when
do all.
you go through that, you know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier on the show, the nerve pain and all that. A lot of people don't know the struggles of trying to be an entertainer while still trying to recover. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's very hard because all you want to do is feel normal when you know deep down inside you're not normal. You know what I'm
yeah, and
saying?
that's and what you
So
just said right there. That's the if we get if somebody was it was what was it what's it in the court the stenographer. I'm sorry, I've been drinking, y'all. Like catching that right there.
yeah,
That what he just said.
yeah,
That is a key crucial part to
yeah.
healing.
That's real rap.
Is
That's
like
real rap. You know what I mean?
you got.
So my question still poses: what did you do
I
during that
kept.
recovery time? Like,
I first I distanced myself because like you said, you're not the same person anymore. you have to cope with that you're
Yeah,
not the
you
same
won't go.
person
It's
that you used
paranoia.
to
You
be.
had it's not just post traumatic stress disorder. It's
Yeah,
paranoia, schizophrenia. All of that comes with
yeah.
it when you know
But
things like that
also,
happen to you.
but
You get
also
hit up. You
physically,
definitely.
physically,
That's why
man.
Tupac was the way he was. Tupac was the way he was because he had schizophrenia and post traumatic stress disorder. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. The main thing is you have to come to terms with, and this is for those watching, because you say it's a mental health show. You have to, and so for anybody who's going through anything right now watching the show, you have to mentally cope with that you're not the same person that you were. If
Absolutely,
you survive
absolutely.
any kind of traumatic experience, no matter what your traumatic experience is, like it don't even have to be getting shot. It can be anything. You know what I mean? But you have to cope with you're a different person now.
Absolutely.
So you have to find ways to get better. For me, I had to distance myself and quiet all the noise because everybody was telling me different stories of why this happened to me. At the time, I didn't have any beef. So I'm like, what? Why did somebody try to kill me? What is this
Right.
about?
Same
Like,
thing
it
here,
was
man.
like,
I
what?
ain't had no beef,
You know
but I knew I was doing things, and you know, like the way you know how I used to be, bro. We ain't even gonna get into all that, but you know what I'm
what I mean?
saying.
But that's the
Um,
first thing. You gotta mentally get down that you're a different person now. So
yeah,
and then you also have to, upon accepting it yourself, you also have to tell others because people, you have to realize that people also, they're going through your pain with you, but they don't know
they don't understand it.
how.
They don't
Nobody has the
understand it.
right words to say to you. Yeah, nobody has the right words to say to you. So they're going to say stuff and they're going to think they're saying the right thing. And in your head, you go, oh, yeah. It's just like, kind of like when somebody close to you passes away and then everybody thinks they're trying to console you, but they don't know that they're like, yo, I don't want to hear this right now, what you're saying.
Yeah,
Because you think you're saying the right thing, but you're triggering me to relive it. So I had to go through that first. That's why I said I had to distance myself at first, and then that was the first stage. Then it was a journey, man. Like I like I said, I wasn't trying to get hooked on the pills and stuff. So I kind of found a different addiction, which I kind of already was into, which was drinking. And I'm never going to be an advocate for anyone else to do the things that
do
I do.
you think
I'm
that?
not
Do
going to be
you
like,
think
no.
that? How do you cope with dealing with everyday life on life terms? Going through what you're going through every day, and still
I
deciding to
distance
hit the
myself.
stage and hit the road and do stand up comedy. Tell the
I
people a
distance
bit
myself,
more
bro.
about places you performed as well, and people
But
you've
hold
met
on, hold on.
along the way on your journey.
I want this to be clear because even when throughout my journey of all that, even with the performance and all that, I want to be clear when I say I distance myself. Like you say, everybody has a process. Before I get on stage, I still have to distance myself away from the crowd. Like even with stand up and comedy, a lot of times comedians will come together and associate and all that before the shows. I have to like distance myself and just go into my own zone. I'll put my headphones on. Like even with the rap stuff, I would go to events and people be like, "Oh man, I watch your show. Yeah, I love." Oh, my bad, I'm a cursing. I'm about to say, I, they be like, "Yo, I love your show, man. I watch it. You so animated. You do this, you do that. How come when I seen you at this event, you were just chilling by yourself in the corner?" Because I'm not. I'm there, but that's what I'm saying. It's a coping mechanism on how you put yourself into that setting. I can't just walk into the building and be Maxx Madness. I walk into the building, I survey the scene like that, but that comes with, like you say, that's the trauma, the post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yeah,
You
the stress
survey the scene,
disorder.
you
Yeah.
look up, you look at the exits in and out, you look at the people
You
around
constantly looking at the exits.
you,
Constantly,
you
no
assess
matter where
you
you are,
assess
you're
the threat
constantly
level.
looking at the exits, and you constantly clutching too. Like, yeah,
Yeah, you
I know
assess the
about it.
threat level. You know what I mean? But then also, that's what I'm saying. Like before I interact with everybody, I have to get time to myself to, you know what I mean, get it together. Like, all right,
All right, so my
you know what I
next
mean?
question.
You got to reset.
Here's my next question. How did you pose? Like, how did you start to get comfortable with crowds, knowing that you got PTSD, knowing that you had this paranoia, and where was the first place you performed dealing with that? Tell the people about that. Like we still going to talk about the comedian side. We talk about the deep side, but
No, no,
we,
no. I'm trying to think. Like you talking about as far as back when I was rapping. Well, what it is it may appear that I'm alone when you see me out, but I'm never alone. So it's like there's a comfort level because I, I'm I'm surrounded by people who care about me.
right,
So that's part of the comfort level. As far as like performance wise, I always got a rush out of performing. Just some people it's just in you. Like sometimes like even when like we can get to this later on because right now we're in the rapper stage of the but there's a level of comfort when you're confident in what you're doing.
right,
I don't feel like I'm the best in anything. I don't feel like I'm the best because that's the egomaniac side. I don't feel like I'm the best, but I am a person who I feel like I strive to become the best in anything I
right,
do.
right,
So, which makes me where there that becomes it brings you to a point of where you can be good at what you're doing. To You're going to have your haters, but if you strive to be the best, and also you have to welcome criticism and all that because that's a part of it. But if you strive to be the best, you're going to land somewhere in the lane of okay, I'm okay at this. I'm good at this. So I feel comfortable in front of crowds to the point of everybody doesn't like me, but I know somebody here knows I'm gifted and talented.
all
And
right.
I
So that
thrive
leads
off
to
that.
my next question. That's a
I
good thing that you
thrive
said
off
that,
that.
right? Where was the first place you performed, and what was the crowd's reaction to your stand up?
Stand up, or we fast forwarding? We fast
Yeah,
forwarding
yeah,
into stand up.
we mixing. Look, we mixing. We going in and out. But because you're a rap artist and a comedian, we doing both.
Yeah. All right. Well then, so I skip this the storyline for anybody who's keeping track. We gonna skip a few years. Wow. We gonna skip a few years to stand up comedy. Um, the first place that I actually did stand up. Um, damn, my man up all night. My man up all night. He threw a party. And me and him, we were under the same umbrella. The live circuit. My man on there was Sir. He's my mentor in the radio game. That's what I'm saying. It's a big gap. I have at this point in the storyline. I have a mentor in radio. We doing shows all the time. My man up all night. He was throwing events, and he threw an event where it was an open mic joint. And at this point, I was already like kind of like I had a battery in my back. People was telling me, like, "Yo, you funny, man. You need to just do it. Da, da, da. Just do it, man. Just go in." And then this one night, I just decided, like, "Yo, today is the day." Like I was at work. I remember I was at work, my normal day job, and I was just like, "You know what? I'm gonna memorize this joke. All right, you know what? I'm gonna memorize these two jokes." I started out like the same way, like when we get into the portion of the story where the radio. I
Yeah.
started out my comedy telling jokes on stats on social media.
Okay.
And as far as the response that I get from the people, like I
Yeah.
already had a following at this point. At this point when I got into comedy, I already had a following from radio. So when I would slip my jokes in, I would go off of the most reactions, the most likes, and all that. I was like, okay, that gotta be funny because people are sharing it and they think it's funny. So the
So did
first
you
joke
get
I ever
booed?
wrote,
So your
no,
first
no, no,
performance, did you get booed or did you
no.
get claps?
I've never been booed in my life. I've been doing comedy 4 years now. I've never been booed at all, and I bombed, and I have bombed. Like there's a difference. Like I'm gonna get into that a little later on the difference between But I've never been booed in my life. I've never had. I have never had people. I almost cussed my bad. So you see how them.
So radio, what was the name of the
No,
radio
wait,
you was
wait.
on?
I'm
Because you
not,
was on radio too,
no,
right?
yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I was on. All right, so this event I was on. I was under the umbrella. I was a co-host on the on air research show, and my man up all night. He threw the event. I had my man Shiar was with me. He was a fast. He is a fashion designer. He has the
Shout out to
Bridge
Bridge
Life
Like
Shiar.
Sheila. Who make your
Uh-huh.
merch?
This merch I got on today, my man Gio. You're familiar with Gio? He was
Moondy.
he was a
Moondy.
guest on the show. Yeah,
Okay.
Gio printed out my merch. I mean, y'all, I don't know if y'all can see I don't know if y'all can see, but yeah, I got the logo and all that. I printed it. I got some merch out there. I just
Yeah,
don't be.
yeah. Shout
Uh,
out to Gio. Uptown Gio with the merch. Salute, my guy.
uh-huh. That's my bro, man. It was Shiar, and another thing is with the radio. Um, I frequent a lot of radio stations. So I came across my man, my homie, he a DJ Most Hated. We got cool. We formed a bond. We all talking and joking one day. So I'm telling them like we at Glockaway radio station. I'm telling them, yo, it's an event tonight. My man having an open mic. I think I'm ready to do the comedy. So they all laughing, everybody like, oh, you gonna really try it? No, I feel like I have a solid joke. I ran it by my Facebook followers. I know how that sounds, but that's the reality of how it happened. I ran it by my Facebook followers, and I was like, yo, if I could just get this first joke out and get the crowd laughing, I feel like I'm gonna be in a positive environment where my natural funny can just take over from there.
Yeah,
Because this is a thing where everybody feels like they're funny. Everybody feels like they can do stand up comedy. Everybody has that, like, oh, I always thought I could do it. But the thing
yo,
is, you got to do it.
honestly, I feel like I could do it
Look,
the
you
way
about
you
to,
and I
you,
used to kick it. Yo,
look,
we used to have everybody rolling.
look.
I know I'm a
And
funny
that's the
fool,
thing.
but that's just not the lane for me. You know what I mean?
You never know, bro. You never know. Because I was heavy into hip hop, and then one day, like what I'm saying, it was a journey. Like it was at this point in time, I had already had a show with a well known comedian in the Philadelphia scene. My man Chris Cotton, that's my brother. R.I.P. to him.
Okay. So, who are some of the other comics that you've met along the way, and what was
Well,
some
at this point,
advice,
I
some
done met
good
everybody.
advice, some good advice that you got?
Well, hold on. You trying to fast forward in the story? Hold on, man.
Hey, man, we got to keep the
That
questions
night,
going. We had almost an hour already. You know what I'm saying? We
let's
almost done
see.
the episode, so we
Well,
got
all
to
right.
get
So,
into it.
all right. So wait. All right. So should I just? All right. Let me give a fast forward moment. That moment, I went there with DJ Most Hated and Briz Life CR. They was like, "Yo, get up there." I went up there. I told my first joke ever. I wrote that joke on Facebook. The joke was, I was like, "Man, I love my city, Philadelphia, but I hate it because it's so wild and crazy." A dude actually tried to fight me for talking to his baby mom, and he ain't seen his baby since the ultrasound. So
Okay. So you give them cutthroat
now,
comedy. You give them like
now
kind of like a Corey Holcomb. Like you give them that cutthroat comedy.
and that, yeah,
I
and
get it.
that was one of the comedians I looked up to, and I kind of like when I first started, I tried to kind of emulate his style, but
Yeah.
it wasn't for me. Like you
Yeah.
find
You gotta
out in
find
your
yourself.
process, you have to find yourself. Yeah, you got to find yourself.
Yeah.
After a while, it was like, yo, oh man, I can't get away with the stuff he said. I had to learn that. I can't. So I had a lot of ignorant and rude, offensive jokes at the beginning, but I wasn't great at joke writing. Well. I was good at joke writing. All right, I'll put it like this: the way I just said that joke to you was the way I said it when I said it. I don't perform. When I deliver that joke now, that's not my delivery of that joke at all. But
Right.
I wanted to put you in that moment, and when that landed, Yeah, I got so much love in the room that it was the rush that I was telling you about. It's like once you feel that rush, it's like, yo, I gotta keep going at this. So
Yeah.
now you just punching and punching. My first big show I ever got the opportunity to do. Shout out to my man, comedian Ken Jones. Ken Jones, he's big in Philadelphia. Like you know what I mean? He's known outside of Philly and all that, but in Philly, like he's probably best known for the sketches. But then he translated it and brought it to the stage, and he created the ridiculously funny
So what's
comedy
some of the
series.
names that you've
No,
met?
I'm telling you. So I'm starting with that because when he put me, he once he seen, I put that video out. When I was telling that joke that you just seen, I'm gonna share that video with you later on. You can probably share that joke with your followers.
Yeah.
Once he put me on his jaw, like I said, he was already established. Like he was a former guest on my radio show, and he said this to me on the show. I told him my interest in stand up, and he was like, "Yo, well, you're a funny guy, yo. If you ever take it serious, I'll put you on the stage." I'm thinking, you know how you hear people say stuff. I'm thinking he's just saying stuff. I put that video out of me telling that joke at the open mic. He was the first person to comment. He said, "Oh, so you ready now?" Boom! I got a show on the first. Put me on the stage. He put me on the stage with oh my god, like it was so like he always had big headliners coming in to do his show. Like so, and then he also had like big big comedians in the local area because he showed love. You know what I mean? The same way he showed love to me, he showed love to everybody. Like so
Right.
I've done like as far as like comedy, I've done shows with some people I seen on TV growing up, like on Def
Like
Comedy
who?
Jam,
Say
like
some names.
Tommy Too Smooth. I did a show with Two Ray. I did a show with oh, oh man, I just was with him. Oh, I don't want to because I you be around so many people, but I don't know who y'all are familiar with. Like it'd be special to me, but I don't know if it's special to everybody. Oh my god,
All
like
right,
it
so
was.
you met Paul Mooney. We was talking about this off air, right? What
Yeah.
was meeting Paul Mooney like as
I met Paul Mooney before I became a comedian, but that was one of those instances where you know how they be like, "Don't meet your heroes" or whatever. I'm not to say that he was my hero or nothing, but he was somebody I looked up to in comedy, and my experience with him wasn't necessarily like, "Oh no,
it
yo, you
wasn't the
next
best?
up," you know. It wasn't the best because I realized that it was work for him. Like I went to one of his shows and then I took a picture with him after the show and it was one of them Jones and I'm telling him like, yo man, oh, I really I you know I you know what I mean I look up to you like you've been doing it for like the black people. You're not afraid. You hold no punches. You say what you say. You know, and he kind of like was just like it was kind of like that was like his reaction like oh yeah that's what's up like it wasn't the moment in my head I thought it would be.
Yeah, you
Like,
might have just
you
caught
know
him
what I
at
mean?
the wrong time, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's
You
what I'm
might
saying. Like,
it might have just been that, you know what I'm saying? But y'all, it looked like a vibe, but it's a good thing that you got to meet him, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Paul Mooney, you know what I'm saying?
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as like comedians that kind of like caught me off guard I seen growing up over the years, and they showed me love. Like I said, Tommy Too Smooth. He showed me love. Like we did a show together, and I didn't even realize that he saw my set. You know what I mean? And after my set, he came up to me and was just, I mean, he was giving me tips and stuff. He was like, "Yo, man, you need to work on this, and that." He was like, "Yo, your material is funny. Your writing is good. You just got to work on the delivery."
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. You know what I mean? Um, Keith from up the block. When I first started comedy, I started going to his open mic. He had to join Nerdy by Nature. And Keith from
Okay.
up the block is to some people they probably don't have him, and like a lot of Philadelphians have him more or less in the area of a host because he was the host of Urban Expressions. So they probably don't.
For
They
those that don't
a
know,
lot of
Urban
comedians.
Expressions was the
Yeah,
back in the day hip hop group that used to come on TV. If you had to have basic cable or you had a regular TV, you had to turn to channel
no,
48. You know what I'm saying?
48.
But it was a popping show for the city of Philadelphia. This is how we first heard Bahamadia. This is how we first learned about Mad Skills.
But like
Everybody
I said,
that was somebody in Philadelphia had been on Urban Expressions at some point
I was
or
I was
watched the
introduced to
channel.
him.
You know what I'm saying?
I was introduced to him through my man Chris Cotton. Me and Chris Cotton, we met each other through the radio. But then when I told him I had interest in comedy, he just pushed me like, "Yo, you need to do it. And the first thing you need to do, be funny. Stop overthinking it." He was like, "I've seen you perform. Like when I first started getting up there, I would tell all these jokes and I would wait for the crowd reaction. And all. He said, "Yo, stop all that. Just be funny. You're funny. Just be funny." And I know you can't tell because we're talking about a bunch of dark topics up here. At
Yeah,
first,
yeah,
we,
yeah.
we
It's all
we did a
good.
lot
It's
of
all
time
good. This
talking
is what the
about,
show is
but
about,
no,
bro.
yeah. And then also, all right, let me go through the list because I see we running out of time. All right,
Yeah, we
my
running up. We
man,
got 9 minutes left before the show's out.
my man who surprised me. I told you, keep on with the block. He surprised me, showed me a lot of love when I first got into it. Jamaican G, my man Jamaican G.
That's my guy,
Now, a
yo.
lot of
He's
people,
hilarious, yo.
yeah,
Shout out to Jamaican G.
yeah,
G, you gotta come on the pot, Jamaican G.
yeah.
You
My
gotta
guy
come on,
Jamaican
man.
G. He gave me an opportunity as for when I first started. Like he was also with the along with that the Ken Jones umbrella that also came along with that. Like you, like they we all network and show love to each other. And Jamaican G was one of those guys who was like, "Yo, you funny, bro, but you need to work on your delivery and your writing." Like he don't hold no punches. Like that's what I appreciate from people who actually show love is that
So
they'll tell you, like, "Yo, bro."
do you feel like as a comedian you're more consistent versus a rap artist? Which one would you say
I
was
would
more
say,
consistent about you?
I mean, well, I've just gotten into comedy, so I would say I was more consistent as a rapper because, as you know, being a hip hop artist is nonstop. Like if like I said, if you want to sell your mixtape, you got to battle whoever you want to sell it to. That was the era we grew up in. The comedy stuff, I'm consistent as far as being a new comedian. Like I'm working and I'm getting booked on shows, and a lot of people showing me love. I mean, I'm pretty sure I get hate, but they don't directly come out and hate. Like to me, I don't see it yet. I'm pretty sure somebody probably do, but I don't get. I get more hate from people from my former life, and as far as like the streets or the hip hop stuff or the radio
Absolutely.
stuff. Like we running out of time, so I can't even really. We I like man, I don't know. It's like I'm running out of time. I don't want to. It's more stories that need to be told.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
more stories that
listen,
need to be
man.
told.
Listen, you always welcome to come back on the pot. So this ain't gonna be the only time you on, bro. Like we can do another day, and it
I
could
know
be
we
like a
got a late
2-part
start.
series
We
where
started.
we can talk deeper about the things that happen to us as well. That could be a separate episode on another time. But
Mhm.
I'm glad that you decided to persevere through everything that you've been through, because I know you. But for those that don't know you, everything that you just explained to them, it's a lot, man. And
Because
yeah, to
there is
get shot
no.
up, to have a disability, to still be out there performing at a high level, entertaining people, it's hard, and people don't really see the mental stress that people go through when they go through that. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think that you're pushing through everything that you need to push through, and that you need to continue. You know what I'm saying? I think you're very funny. Um, Tell the people where they can find you, and tell them where they can find your work as well, and what's next for you.
Max Madness 215 on every platform. I don't. I don't be on Twitter like that. So if you check my X or whatever it's called now,
X
uh,
Twitter
you,
X.
you're gonna see old jokes of me just talking. That was back when I was highly offensive. Like when I used to say jokes like I spelled my name with two X's in honor of the women that I abandoned during pregnancy.
Yeah.
Like it was goofy, stupid stuff, and that'll lead me into a gateway joke about like, no, I would never do that, yo. I'm just joking. I live by the credo of the old school district credo of leave no child left behind. That's why I kick him in the stomach when I walk out. Like,
Hey,
wow.
listen.
Yeah, I don't say jokes
Listen,
like that
man,
no
it's
more
jokes.
because
You know, if
while
people take offense to jokes, it's okay. You know, they're only jokes.
no,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
no, but it's
And
but it's
and, and,
all
and
but
I
it's
want to commend
also
you,
it's
bro.
also a process. It's also a process. You got to learn. Like I said, that was the early stages. I used to say stuff like that on my old Twitter stuff. To me, that stuff is not funny no more. I understand we're in a PC era. I'm not PC, but I do realize that sometimes you say hurtful things and you got to clear it up. So I don't tell those kind of stuff, but I just wanted to throw it out there to give y'all an example of the beginning stuff. If you want to
Yeah.
find me on Maxx Madness 215 on IG. That's the thing I check. I don't check none of that, Joe. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Snapchat. I check my Facebook, but I'm not giving my
Tell
government,
people
y'all.
no. Tell the people on Facebook, bro, because that's where it go down. At you know what I'm saying?
Follow me. I do have a Maxx Madness 215 Facebook page. You're not gonna get access to my government page on Facebook because it's full. You only get 5,000 people. So you new people, y'all late. I gotta delete people for you. And if I delete people, they gonna feel some type of way. And I'm like, well, you wasn't right anyway. So if you was right, I wouldn't have
so
deleted you. You know what I mean? So
so
like,
what's next, man? What's next? What's the next thing?
what's next? What's next is more comedy shows. I'm trying to do at least two shows a month. And to be honest with you, that's not enough. I know that sounds okay, but to be honest with you, I should be doing two shows a night.
Running the
That's what I'm saying.
bag up, right?
Yeah, it's like, well, in Philly is different. Like you established comedians, they just go from one show to the next. They'll do their set, collect their bag, move on. If they got love for the people that's throwing the show, they'll stay, take pictures and all that. But if you're really working, you're gonna do this show and on to the next that night because we don't have all night shows like they do in other cities in New York, LA. We stop our shows at like 1. And if you get an audience that'll stay till 1, you fortunate because comedy crowds don't really like to stay out that long unless it's like a big headliner that's coming in from out of town.
Right,
Like you got to go downtown, city to like Helium or
right.
Punchline or something like that. What's next is more shows. I made a promise. I said this statement my third year in comedy. I'm on my fourth, but because of COVID, I really was active for 2 years. I said this statement. I was like, yo, I'm going to win Philly Funniest. Philly Funniest is
Didn't
a
you win
big
an award?
competition. I won an award, but I won an award for being a radio host. We
Okay, so
skipped
tell
that part.
people about that a little bit too. We got 2 minutes.
He said we got 2 minutes. Long story short, I was just shit as a radio host. Like, oh my bad. We gotta pay a fine. Do we gotta pay a fine?
Nah, but you won the
So,
award though, right? For that, right?
I
What
won
was
a,
the
I won
award?
an award of being I won an award for being a top hip hop website. And like when I first got into doing radio, I was big on trying to help promote others get into the game. And we kind of skipped this portion because we went straight from the rap to comedy. But the radio portion, like when I first got into the radio, my first my first big interview was my man Ace Spitz. He's a Philly artist. He's out here. He do music. He do movies. He's acting. He do all that. After I did that interview, that's when I started blowing up. People started focusing on what I do, and to me, that's when I got noticed. So I don't care what anybody thinks. To me, that was my timeline, bro. He did my show, and then it opened the doors for other artists and other. They all started coming in. I got my
Yeah,
man Sipping with Sammy on the show. I got my man Reese from look,
it's a lot of
yo,
them. But
You
man,
know, man,
listen,
30 views. Listen, after that,
we got a few
I did
seconds left.
interviews. No, I see. After that, I did shows with Paul Anthony, the bull from the house party. I did shows with Claudia Jordan. After that, the sky was the limit, bro. And I'm just gonna say this: you're gonna do it too, bro. I'm gonna
Hey,
say that. I know we running out of time. You about to get these big interviews rolling in. That was my first joint. After that, I got Sandman, and after I got a Philly legend on the show, the sky was the limit from there.
hey,
So I'm gonna
man, I
tell you
want to
this:
thank you for
you
coming
just
on the
you.
pot.
I'm gonna tell you that you just interviewed a Philly legend. We ain't get into all the reasons why, but
Yeah,
I'm not joking.
yeah, man. We're gonna talk about it again. But I want to thank you for
you
coming
know,
on the
you know
pot,
I'm joking when I
man.
say that.
Thank you
Uh
for
huh.
coming, bro. And
I appreciate you having me. Good.
the people know about you now, you know what I'm saying? And y'all like, share, and subscribe, follow him. You know what I'm saying? Maxx Madness. I am your host, Tigmatic. Thank you for watching the pot. And YouTube, I need y'all to run the numbers up on YouTube. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. Facebook, like, share, follow, subscribe. Instagram, the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic. Get at me. And we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace.
Yep.